Any celebrity encounters in Dubai, Pakistan, Bollywood, they all come there, right?
Many. You know, one thing I always say, Pakistan, Bollywood or Lollywood or
Yes,
Hollywood,
right,
whatever
right.
it is, we're all one people.
Right.
I'm sure how many Indian friends you have.
Right,
over here?
a lot.
How many
Good
Jew
people.
friends you have.
Amazing
You know,
people.
how many Christian friends you have.
Good
How many Buddhist friends you have over
Yeah.
here. Why not only in India and Pakistan we have issues? Like in Dubai, my best friend is Indian.
Yeah.
So it's all political. I
agree
always
with
tell you, it's not, if it was, we would not be living happily, friendly in other countries.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
That's a living example.
I agree with you.
Hi baby, hop in the Lamborghini. I'm needy, on me only, I'm needy. Hi baby, hop in the Lamborghini. Left for a minute, I did not sweat it. Look at the cash I'm spending. There it goes.
Welcome to another episode of Stroke of Success podcast. It's your host, KB. I'm here with a very special guest who I've known for about a year, but we got really close this past weekend. We had a few functions we attended together. Interesting story. I'll give you guys a quick backstory. We're having dinner Friday night at a fundraiser, and he just mentioned a little story about being kidnapped. And I'm like, you know what? I think my audience will love this story to hear. So I'm going to give you guys a little backstory. My guest here today is from Pakistan. He travels the world. He's one day here, one day in Dubai, one in Pakistan, one day in Europe. I follow him on Instagram. He's all over. His father name is Mohammed Mubin Jumani. Mr. Jumani, I had a pleasure of spending time with him this weekend as well. A wonderful, loving individual. And person next to me is one of the owners for Jumani Holding and Jumani Hospitality. So please welcome my guest, Fahad Jumani.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you for coming, my friend.
I really appreciate it.
So I think the way we connected is my wife is friends with your sister-in-law.
Yes.
Sahar.
Yeah.
Randall. She's very sweet. She's in Pakistan right now.
She's in Pakistan at the moment.
And I met your brother as well.
Yeah.
He's very sweet as well. I met your father. Every one of you guys are very hospitable. But there's a history.
There is?
There's
like
a history.
everything, there's a history.
Yes. So let's start with that. Where were you born?
I was born in Karachi.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was born in Karachi in 1982.
Okay.
And that's where it all started. And I was at a very young age. I did mention to you that, like, casually mentioned to you, I didn't mean to scare you off or anything,
No, I love
but
it.
I wanted to just share
I love that stuff.
So that was the reason for me of my parents for me to decided to be moving to America and to continue my education here.
How old were you when that happened?
I was almost about 9, I would
Okay.
say. Yeah, 8 or 9.
8 or 9.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're 8 or 9 years old.
Mhm.
Just talk about. So let's look before that. Karachi in the 80s, it was a different time.
It was.
Your father at that time, was he just an entrepreneur? Was he?
Well, he was. Let me give a little bit of background.
Please.
So, because my father was really, really close to Benazir Bhutto, which is one of the political families in Pakistan, and not just politically close, he was family-wise close. So, at that time, he was told that he's a businessman, pure businessman. Started his career from construction and then, built up his empire. One of those success stories that you hear. So he was really close to the family, especially to Benazir Bhutto herself. And at that time, she was in exile. And so it was Ziaul Haq's time. And Ziaul Haq was a dictator at that time. Was one of the generals that took over power. And unfortunately, my father at that time was told that he will be picked up by a few of his friends, that if he does not. So he was like, I'm not involved in anything. So why would they pick me up? They're like, well, this can be politically motivated cases. In countries like third world countries, there are
Very common.
very common. So at that time, he took a flight. He was told that there were going to be arrests for him. And that night, he was told by one of his friends. So he left the country at that time without his wills and wants. But friends were like, at least you can be outside, let this time kind of pass by.
Yes.
It was an interim government at that time. The government was taken over Ghulam Mustafa Jatoi was the prime minister, caretaker prime minister, if I'm not wrong. Yes, and
Temporary time frames until someone else takes.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So I don't want to go into too much details.
fine.
And I
Please.
just like because it's and one thing connects to another.
Gotcha.
Nothing, and
That's
one thing
enough.
connects to
We
another.
get it.
So and that the night he took off, we came back. Our house was raided, and and they were looking for him basically. But unfortunately, he had left the country. And the next morning, I remember it very clearly, was my last day of school. So I went to school, and they kidnapped me right outside my school.
9 years old. So we're the same age. I'm born in 82 March. What's your birthday?
In December.
Okay. so
December 6th just
I'm
passed.
older than you a little bit. Happy birthday.
And thank you.
So 8 and 9 years old, second grade, third grade, right? Almost.
Yeah, somewhere around.
You're coming out of school, you plan to go home.
I had no idea. To be honest with you, till first 3-4 days, I had no idea.
What's
And
happening?
I could tell, like when I first couple of days, because I was in, like you're in a shell shock, because you don't know what's going on. You're so young and you don't even know what's going on. Why you're taken away from your parents, and so. I remember they came and they took they just put me in a room. They didn't abuse or beat me up or anything like that. So they were non-abusive at the first. Only one time I had an episode with them. So, but they kept me in one room. They fed me well, and they were like, first couple of days they came and they told me that they got me some clothes, and they're like, we need your uniform and we need your backpack. So, because my backpack was still there with me. So, because I think when they were trying to negotiate, which I found out later on, they were trying to negotiate with my parents. So they wanted proof. So they were told that, here's the clothes and here's his uniform, here's his backpack. And they were like, well, you guys could have killed him or murdered him and then give us the clothes. What is the living proof? Then I remember after, I think a week, maybe a third or fourth day, fifth day, they came in. And I remember at that time, they made me write a letter to my mother. So that was, it was quite painful. So just to show a sign of that I'm alive. Or
there was no voice recorder.
No, I don't think so. At that time, there were, and I think later on when we found out, because then they did eventually, my father came back and they did get him arrested. They got all the gang arrested and everything.
Wow.
They were sentenced to first, if I'm not mistaken, they were sentenced to hang till death, but then they were pardoned, and they were their sentence was converted into life imprisonment. And then later on, again, unfortunately, coming from third world countries, we have stuff we have to go through, things like. So there was a chief minister later on, Mumtaz Bhutto, was Benazir's uncle,
Right.
but an anti-government, and he pardoned them for. We let them go.
Wow. It's all connected.
Yeah, all connected.
And a lot of players behind the scenes. How, let's walk through that. Share the setting. Is it a room, a black room? Is it a big house? Is it a corner? You have a bathroom?
I don't remember the house being
Yeah.
so much. They had only I remember they would take me out, watch TV and stuff for just for half an hour or whatever a
That's
day.
it.
And I would just be to my room. It was just a normal, basic, I would say
Just
about
like
this
it.
size of a room, and then one toilet. That's it. And one
You
bathroom.
have some books? You have some toys?
No, nothing. Just my room. Just myself.
Wow. Did you get therapy after that?
No. I was pretty strong till the time I came back. And I remember when I came back, then I would just not step outside my room even. I would not even come out. So we have 2-story house. So I would live on the second floor. My room was, and then I would not even come down because that's how scared I would be.
PTSD.
Yeah. So then my father was told, I guess I was too young at that time. I was told that he should move me to US and to change the environment, and otherwise, your basically your son is going to go crazy.
It's trauma.
Yeah.
It's deep trauma.
So yeah.
What part of US did you move to?
Orlando.
Right
Orlando's been home since day one.
I was going to ask you guys that. I know the Jumani family has a lot of hotels here. You guys are really big here. Why did you guys pick Orlando? Why not South Florida, Tampa?
I till today I asked my father.
Yeah.
I don't know why. He just loves Orlando. He
Interesting.
came, he landed. Usually the story is that typical Desi story is that wherever you land, you kind of stay
That's
there.
it.
Like usually it's New York and Chicago and
or-
Houston
or LA. Yeah.
or LA.
Yeah.
So my father surprisingly landed in LA. So, but yeah, and he was, and back in the days there was a ticket called See America. They would
Okay.
have coupons,
Yeah.
so you could have like 3 or 4 coupons, whichever city you want to travel to, so you can come. So he came in there early, if I'm not mistaken, late 70s, early 80s, and one of my uncles had gas stations in LA. So he landed there, and he was there, and then I don't know how he ended up in Orlando. And at that time, in late 80s, early 90s, he ended up coming to Orlando, and he fell in love with Orlando. He's like, no, this is the place. And at that time, there was BCCI Bank. He had some funds kept over there, but the BCCI Bank was having issues. So he wrote a telex to the bank and he got some funds transferred over here. And then, he bought a motel on 192. And just like that, he bought a house. And then that timing was such that he was in London at the time when I got kidnapped. He flew to New York that same day. But he had bought the motel already. So he got the news that I got kidnapped that morning, early 2:30 in the morning, because the timing difference. So he found out that I got kidnapped, and then, he traveled back to London, and he kind of just stayed there. He wanted to go back, but then he was told that, this might be politically motivated. They might want to arrest him because of holding me back. And so it just, yeah, and 21 days when quite strong. Very difficult 21 days.
This is not uncommon where we come from, right? I mean, I was born in America. My mom started the family from Lahore, my dad from Islamabad. But I've been back to Pakistan 3 times. I love Pakistan. I love the culture. I love everything about it. I've never been to Karachi yet, and we talked about it. But I hear about it. I'm a big movie guy. I watch movies. I hear a lot of stuff. That this is not uncommon in Karachi.
Well, now it's not as bad
as it used
to be. There were times that it was pretty bad. Kidnapping for ransom was so usually. What happens is like it's kidnapping either for ransom, either politically motivated kidnappings, or either it's terrorism.
Sure.
So there has been kidnappings for our ex Prime Minister Gilani, Pakistan People's Party's Prime Minister. His son was kidnapped he escaped after I think 2.5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure.
So I mean that's tough, but that was a different motivation. Mine was purely, thank God, like for. And there's certain things, let me tell you, that I don't even wish this upon my enemies also. This is such
please,
it's really, the funniest thing is like I forgot, usually you grow old, your kind of memories fade and everything.
Yes.
But this memory has been like in HD quality in my brains. I still remember the faces. I still remember that every single day. So
do you want to get therapy now? Thought about getting therapy now?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It hasn't bothered me till now, but maybe
therapy. I mean, I have a few friends that had not similar, but almost in the same direction of a situation that you've had. In therapy, they had to go to therapy because there's a lot of topics there's no closure there, right? I mean,
well, see, I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed by being able to be well traveled, and see the rest of the world. Pakistan, unfortunately, still our country. Pakistan is, even though an American citizen now, like Pakistan, unfortunately has certain taboos.
Yes,
and therapy
is one of them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not accepted.
No, there's no need for it.
And I always, so I've had a bit of, and I try to voice out as much as I can, and I try to emphasize mental health because it's so important.
100%.
It's so important. I mean, people do not want to talk about it. Half of the people don't even want to discuss it. They don't even want to acknowledge it.
No.
and in the house itself, in like your own family, your parents do not want to acknowledge it. Oh, hide it. People
Yes.
might think you're crazy.
Yes. Or weak.
And or weak.
Yeah.
So it's sad. I mean,
It's sad.
but it is what it is. Now, a lot of people do come out. I usually try to reach out to my friends and some people like that, and maybe you just, and then mental health is so important. You just need to talk.
That's it.
That's it. You just need a support. Like, that's it.
And even a text can make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Believe me.
Yeah. So you come from a privileged background. I often see Pakistani dramas. I love them. The quality of those are getting so much better. The writing, the direction, the plot. Is life very similar to that back in Pakistan when you come from an upper class family? Everything is at your disposal: bodyguards, security, connections.
Well, there's two different ways of looking at it. You can either look at it with a hatred, or you can look at it with I don't know how to say it. You can look down upon it, you can frown upon it, and how different is that from the Western part of the world?
Sure.
So if you're blessed here, I mean, if you're rich here, like if you're like, I mean, say the Trumps or the Bushes,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
aren't they don't have bodyguards, they don't have the blessed families, they don't have help, they don't have people
Everything. They have everything.
they have everything, right?
Right.
So how different does it, why is it always looked down upon when it's to the that part of the world? So security is, I got kidnapped, so it's my it is not it's required. It's a necessity. It's one of another expense that you have to have. You are in part of the world where you need security, where the police isn't so connected, honest, or
Yes.
whatever. There's corruption. I
Sure,
mean, it's a third world country. Don't get me wrong. It's a third world country.
Mexico, South America is the same thing. Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic.
Same
thing.
So I was supposed to be traveling to Colombia last weekend or 2 weeks ago, and I was told that security is a big issue, is a big concern. You would be limited to touristy areas and I ended up getting a ticket, and I ended up going to the airport and I'm not traveling because because to me that whole thing came back. God forbids if that happens to me again. I don't know, I will survive this time or not.
You have sons too. You have a legacy behind
Yes,
you now.
but you don't want to put yourself through
Sure.
so that if there is a threat, for example. So yeah, like any upcoming country where there's, I mean, even in American, we are our first right to bear arm. We are the security is a necessity. It's not a luxury. I feel that it's a necessity rather than a luxury.
I agree with you, especially in third world countries.
And having help and having the perks with what comes along with it, as you said, the connections and everything. I think it's even in America, and
Of course there is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to. Like I said, there's two ways to looking at it.
Of course.
You can either look at it with hate, or you can either look at it with, it's. I mean, it is what it is. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
You're right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be really honest with you. When I first saw you, and we have briefly passed and without talking, I thought you were just like a prince of your dad's company. And honestly, being frank with you in front of my audience here, and we got to talking, and I'm like, man, this guy does work. He knows what's happening. I was like, and I hope you don't take this offensively, but it's very common when you see people from our country. The father built his empire, and the kids just relax and they party and they do whatever. But you're one of the. You're pushing the empire forward.
Well, like I said, like any, you can never judge a book by its cover.
You're right.
Right. So
we do that.
What we tend to do, we are. That's the way we are programmed.
It's not
unfortunately,
good to, but we do that.
But we are.
Yeah.
That we happen every
Sure.
day. You would have. I mean, multiple. There's been exercises that people walk in with a suit, people walk in with their dirty clothes, and you have a different judgment
Yes.
or different
Yes.
approach to that.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I would say the credit would definitely go to my father, and he has, even at the young age, We are put in the businesses, and I was at the same time I was going to college. I was running my business as well. I was running my motel at that time. So even though I remember I was in Valencia and I used to come back and I used to, run the desk. So I had cleaned the rooms because on the weekend, if they were trying to sell the rooms, we were trying to make that extra $20.
No
or
one
whatever.
sees this.
So
no one sees this side of your life, right?
Yeah. So people, I mean, it's yes, it is. It's a lot of work. Sometimes it might not be physical work. It might be a lot of mental work. A lot of people say, "Oh, you guys have very sleeping odd hours," and because unfortunately they don't see when right now as we speak. Okay, fine. Pakistan's office is closed. My Dubai office is closed right now, but at past 10 p.m. over here, my Dubai and my Pakistan office will open up. So then I'm in coordination with them till past late hours or early hours. And when I'm there, it's my US office opens up in late night. So I have to be there coordinating with my general manager, the bank or whatever, with my contractor, because we're in the process of renovation right now. So there's a lot of back and forth that needs to go through, a lot of details that need to go. The consultants are involved, franchises are involved. So just little things like that. But people do not understand that it cannot be just, okay, sometimes, somebody's, I respect to every hard worker.
Right.
My father has done odd jobs and taught and studied at the same time and to where he is today. So I have a lot of respect for self-made people. But it doesn't necessarily have to be to physically pick up a rock and put it over there. And it could be mentally, it could be more stressful as well.
What's your position with the Jumani family, the groups you own?
Well, we have got a very good approach with the family. We have distributed our work amongst each other, amongst the family. So my father kind of looks after the whole thing. He's not retired. He can never be retired. He's a working horse. So my sister looks after the construction part of the family. So and the major construction part. So I look after the hotels part, like Dubai, US, Pakistan,
Sister
whatever.
is here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arisha,
so she's very much involved in the business.
Yeah,
too.
she's involved in the business. So we are very pragmatic in that way. My brother looks after the sugar. We have a sugar factory in Pakistan, a sugar mill, what you call it, and the agricultural side of the business. So he looks after that. So in Pakistan. And Arisha looks after the Faraz, my younger brother. And I look after the hotel business. So Dubai, US, whatever development and anything to do with hotels, I look after.
That's
that.
all you.
So it's all kind of, we are part owners of every business, but we are kind of doing our own thing.
You do answer to your father.
Sorry?
You all answer to your father.
Oh, of course, yeah.
He's like the Trump.
Yeah.
Trump had 3 kids, right? He has 5 kids, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the show he had Apprentice, and his son and daughter would be on it, and so that's a very similar situation.
He has given us our I must say he has given us our in individuality or freedom of making decisions and doing things upon ourselves. But yes, at the end of the day, we all listen to him and we all kind of report to him and update him, or however you want to call it.
I would love to have him on this podcast one day. Question. I'm sure he and the family saw failures.
Of course. Without failures, there's no success. But failure is not an option.
You don't ever have that in your mindset.
No, it's not an option. You don't keep that an option. You got to keep yourself going. So yeah, there is failures. There is many. Me by myself in COVID time, we lost a lot of money in my businesses in Dubai. Then I made a lot of money in US. Then I made a lot of money past that in Dubai. And then I lost a lot of money then after 2-3 of my hotels. And, they didn't work. They just didn't work. Just now, recently, I signed a deal this year. Touchwood, that's a very lucrative deal. I signed up a new hotel. It's one of the biggest hotels that I've ever owned. It's a 300-room hotel.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So in US or
no, in Dubai.
I saw you guys. I don't know. I think we have a mutual friend, Sizzler. He did a post of a recent purchase you guys did here, Orlando.
We purchased in 2022. We purchased a property on Lake Buena Vista. It was a running property. It was a choice hotel.
Mhm.
It was a 123 suites property, which we just converting into Aiden by Best Western. It's a boutique brand. We're putting about almost $2.6 million of renovation work in there. And right across from that, right diagonally across from that, there's a corner of Palm Parkway and Lake Street. We bought a land, which is an approved Hyatt house. So we're building a 119 room Hyatt house over
That's a
there.
picture I think you put up
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
So we're building that's in process. That's the county right now. Hopefully get that approved soon.
Inshallah. You're in college. How much
Yeah.
education do you have?
So I went to basically I got my associates, and then then I did my online education for my bachelor of business because I was busy with my work and stuff. So that's the way I did.
Did dad put pressure on you? Say, son, beta we call in our language, so son, that hey, you have to go get some education or not really?
Yes, of course. That was number one priority.
Interesting.
That was number one priority.
Is your father highly educated?
Well, he's got his bachelor's degree as well. Regardless of what it is, education has been the number one priority in that. Like
family.
even with my family, with my kids, it's not something that you just you can't be ignored. That's one of the biggest part. I think it's very. I think that's where your mother and your father both
Play a big role.
Yeah, play a huge role on your life of how you perceive.
I notice your energy around your father, Friday. Tons of respect. So a lot of like that. Like I sense this. Like everything stops for you to have him take a seat, and it seems like it comes authentically.
Well,
It's not common in all Pakistani families. Let's be honest.
yes,
It
I
should be.
agree.
It should
I
be.
mean, I look. I think it comes from the heart. First of all, I think it comes from the heart. And if you are, whatever you do, you should do it by your heart. And a lot of people don't understand that. That parents. I just lost my mother recently in February.
Sorry to hear that.
And you really don't know till what you have till it's gone.
Yeah.
Because so you have the best of the I mean, you don't know how many times you've told them if it's "I love you," it's good enough. It's very difficult in a situation in a growing up in a culture like us, for example. Like I did not even realize how we don't even hug our parents that much.
Yeah.
We don't even kiss them that much. It's very different than the
Culture.
generation now.
Yes. Oh, now I'm sure your sons always give you hugs and kisses, but I'm sure you didn't do it with your father, right?
No.
It was not like taboo. Like, what are you doing? It's weird. Interesting.
Yes, I guess it's a cultural thing, but I guess it's changing though.
It's changing.
Yeah, but yeah, love and respect is something. I mean, respect is very big, and I have my father's my best friend. I could share with him
I see that.
anything, and I could have a drink with him or whatever.
I saw that.
But that still that respect boundary
Never
is there.
goes-
That never goes away.
That's interesting. You have 3 sons.
Yes.
Okay. What's the
3
age?
sons and daughters. Shamir, Sindhyar, and Salah are my youngest, and
Okay.
Sasi is my daughter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you have 4 kids.
4 kids. Yeah.
They all live in the U.S.
Yeah, they're all born here. They were just Shamir is going to school here. In fact, he's graduating from Valencia. He's going to UCF. But my kids, I just recently moved them back to Karachi American School.
Okay.
They're in Karachi right now.
Very nice.
At the moment, yeah.
Family business, future?
It's up to them. I mean, Shamir is taking up hospitality, so that's something he wants to do. He's a little bit involved in the hotel as well. So that's something that he's looking forward to do. From my side, there is no restrictions or no, what do you say? You have to become a doctor or you have to become an engineer. So I let them just be the best version of yourself.
If I have to bet on it, I think they'll be entrepreneurs. I think so,
Let's hope.
Jumani way, That's amazing, man. Well, it's I know we're limited on time, but I'll do a part 2 again.
For
Who knows?
sure, I
Maybe
would
I'll
love to.
fly out to Dubai and do a behind the scenes in your property. And
Yeah, you're most welcome.
right,
Most welcome anytime.
Maybe we can go to Pakistan. Your dad invited me to Pakistan. I'm gonna take him on that offer.
Anytime.
But it's been a long time. But so your social media, I enjoy it. You traveling, it shows the back behind the scenes and meetings and stuff. Can we share your social media?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
Where can we find you? What's it called?
My Instagram is, you can just search up Fahad Jumani, Fahad.
I'll put the link in the bio.
You can put the link at the bottom.
Are you on Facebook also?
Well, no, I was, and I just got off
Got off
Facebook
of it.
because I think Facebook is a bit overrated. It's too much for me.
Sure.
It's too much going on.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where do you see the future of Pakistan?
Hopefully, hopefully in good hands.
Yes.
Hopefully in good hands. Hopefully, I mean, obviously, there is. You say in Urdu, "Umeed pe dunya kaim hai."
Right.
So with hope, you
With world
do
looking forward.
world. So definitely a lot of potential. A lot of potential. A lot of great people. What you see on social media, what you see on the media, international media doesn't do justice. I mean, and a lot of great doctors, great businessmen, great engineers, great accountants we've produced, great scientists we've produced.
Yeah.
But it's just it's sad sometimes. Unfortunately, when there is when the countries like third world countries where you have people can be manipulated with a little bit of pressure or funds or money or in different way, you do kind of go in the wrong direction and have a different limelight, and it's very sad. But I still do believe there is hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imran Khan's situation didn't go so well. I mean, there's both sides of the party, right? It's been. I'm born in '82 in America. Ever since I had been born and raised here, I always hear the news. Then Pakistan is always in a negative space. You never hear like it's thriving.
Well, in all fairness to Pakistan, let me tell you one thing. The thing is that it's very sad and very unfortunate that I'm not against any media or
please.
anything like that, but I'm just saying that positive news doesn't sell.
That's right.
Right? So they have to show the worst.
Sure.
And I think our media in Musharraf's time was gotten the proper freedom in Musharraf's era. And I was I had a very interesting conversation. I was sitting with an owner of one of the channels of Z Network in Dubai, and they were trying to open Z Pakistan.
Okay.
And in Musharraf's era, so they approached me knowing that my father was very good friends with Musharraf at that time. So I had a conversation. So he told me he's like Fahad, he's like, Pakistan's media is doing, because media has like a torch, it's like a like a light. So we're supposed to put light on all the issues and things like that. We're supposed to with that torch, we're supposed to put light. It's like what Pakistani media does is it lights up the issues. It doesn't put light on it.
Interesting.
It burns the issues.
I like that.
So it was a very, I think that's a great way to put it.
It is.
And so he's like, why don't you let us be, okay, we are Indian media, but you put us in Islamabad, you lock us up, we will be under the patronage, and we will give the positive side of the picture. So I definitely do believe that it's like there is no, I think we do have a lot of negative media coverage. Good things are not always, because good news doesn't sell, I guess.
Sure. Here in America also, before we wrap up, any celebrity encounters in Dubai?
Many.
Pakistan, Bollywood, they all come there, right?
One thing I always say, and I always say, Pakistan, Bollywood or Lollywood or Hollywood,
right,
whatever
right.
it is, we're all one people.
Right.
I'm sure how many Indian friends you have.
Right, a lot.
How many
Good
Jew
people.
friends you have.
Amazing people.
And how many Christian friends you have.
Good
How
people.
many Buddhist friends you have over
Yeah.
here. Why not only in India and Pakistan we have issues.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like in Dubai, my best friend is Indian.
Yeah.
You know, so like, you know, I don't have like this only. So it's all political. I always tell you, it's not. If it was, we would not be living happily, friendly in other countries.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
That's a living example.
I agree with you.
Canada, UK, US, you know, Europe, name any country.
That's right. That's true. That's interesting. Fahad, with that being said, I could talk to you for hours, but you know, inshallah, we'll do a part 2 soon.
For sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.